Yeah, good morning. So yesterday I uploaded a short audio of this text from St. Clement of Alexandria speaking about the supernaturalness of faith. So this morning I wanted to um, give you another text which is complementary to the one I've already uploaded to my channel. Um, it's from the same Stromateis, written about 202 AD, and he's talking about um, faith as being the first act of a person going from no knowledge of God to knowledge of God. And this is a quote, and I'm using the Faith of the Early Fathers, Volume 1, translated all the texts from the Early Fathers by William J. Jurgens, and it's become a real classic in patrology. So, without further ado, let me read this. Such a change as this, by which someone comes from unbelief to belief, and while hoping and fearing, yet believes, is of divine origin. Indeed, faith appears to us to be the first inclination towards salvation, after which hope and repentance and even fear, advancing in company with moderation and patience, lead us on to love and to knowledge. Unquote. So basically, St. Clement of Alexandria is speaking about the very foundation of faith, very how we would say how a person experiences this transition from wanting to know about God, having no knowledge of God, and then having the grace to assent to what God reveals about himself. Now, the text that I quoted yesterday, and you can read this in the audio version, is he was speaking about faith is really a supernatural act. It's impossible to assent to God's revelation without having this gift. Now, sometimes it comes to people through baptism. Most of the time it does, initiation into the Christian religion. But other times God gives the grace to yearn to understand who God is. And by that, the person sees the reasonableness of God revealing himself and assents to that truth that God gives. The first line of what I wrote, what I spoke about yesterday, is saying faith knowledge is a state that requires demonstration. It's a foundation of knowledge. Whether you have a premise that the mind works with, a premise of some knowledge, but faith comes from no trace of it being grounded in, he says here, concomitant to matter. In other words, grounded in matter, integrated with matter. He's particular. He says faith is a gift which leads on from what is undemonstrable. And then he ends the passage by saying that faith is superior to knowledge. Superior to knowledge. And it critiques knowledge. If you have a chance, you can actually, if you go to the Vatican website and Google Fides et Ratio, was written by John Paul II when he was Pope. He's been canonized since then, so he did his doctoral dissertation on faith in St. John of the Cross, but when he became Pope, he wrote this encyclical, Fides et Ratio, and he goes through all the Old Testament and the New Testament, showing the importance of faith and reason working together, but as faith supersedes reason. And maybe I'll share something with of that later. But for now, anyone's interested in this text, remember it's the faith of the Early Fathers, Volume 1. William A.Jurgens. You could find it on Amazon very easily. And it's taken from St. Clement of Alexandria, page 182 in this version. So thanks again for listening. For all of you who enjoy learning about your faith, or those searching about faith, inquiring about faith, this may be a good reference for you. So with that, thank you very much.